IBM put a lot of what it knows about computers into the new IBM personal computer. Not to make it complicated, but to make it simple. So it's easy to understand and easy to use. IBM made its personal computer to help a person be more productive, to help a person be more creative. And those are good reasons for a person to feel good. The IBM personal computer, now at selected stores across the country.
Hey.
The sun fades away, and the shadows say slow down. Time to put aside the long day's ride and pass the good times around. Bush. Head for the beer brewed natural as a mountain stream, for a taste as smooth as its name. Bush. Head for Bush. Head for the mountains.
This replay tells it all. That's a first, he says. And the reaction said, no, it isn't.
He said it was right here, well beyond the marker. I don't blame him for being upset. He wanted that first down very badly. Now the pressure shifts dramatically to back onto the shoulders of the Kansas City defense.
The Chiefs have to get the ball twice and score twice. They trail 20-10. 7.5 minutes left. The reverse. Leonard Thompson, that's the 7th time he's carried on a reverse this year, and he has nearly 70 yards. So they've averaged about 10 yards a run on that play, and Monty Clark uses it almost every game, if not more than once, twice today, in fact.
Well, if I were coaching and had a man with that kind of explosive speed and that kind of confidence, I wouldn't hesitate to use that play either. That's a tough play to defend.
You've got Sims going one way. You have to pay attention to him. He may keep the ball.
Well, he made yardage in spite of the fact that they had good containment on him.
That's Vince Thompson. He's not related to Leonard. And there's two Thompson. One wears 38, one wears 39, and one almost wore a white 59 with a red 59. Spaney.
And there goes the personal foul, I believe, against the Kansas City Chiefs. I think maybe somebody said something to an official about the way he was going to spot that one, Dick. And they better be careful. They might get another one.
They mark it out to the 45, and here's the explanation. Face mask.
Oh, face mask. Okay.
First down.
Okay, let's get a look at it here. Mangiero makes a great play as he comes across inside. You may get a chance. It's on Spaney right there. And there you see the face mask. Not the use of the mask to tackle, but you can't even touch that mask. If your hand gets on the mask, they've got to throw the flag on you.
Sims. After the whistle, no fumble, a gain of about 5. And having watched Billy Sims earlier this year, there's no question in my mind that he is not at full speed. That isn't the Billy Sims that is totally healthy. He's favoring that sore toe, and yet he still gets 5 yards on that carry.
You watch him going back to the huddle with pain. He was relatively healthy. He told me yesterday he felt he was about 95%. But he hurt that toe earlier in the game, and it certainly is bothering him.
Sims, as a rookie, set the Lions rushing record for a single year with over 1,300 yards. Steve Owens, the only other Lion over 1,000, and Sims has done it twice in 2 years. Here he comes. And gets 4 more and out of bounds at the 46. That stops the clock, and Kansas City has to be concerned about that with 5:39 left. And a 3rd and 1 facing Hipple and the Lions.
Clock definitely ticking away. A crucial 3rd down situation here. Might look ahead and ask the question, what would Monty Clark do if they were not to make this? Would he kick the ball away?
I think he would.
I think he would, with a 10-point lead.
And with Skladany, who has been just outstanding in kicking the ball inside the 20 and not kicking it into the end zone. 2 tight ends, David Hill and Ulysses Norris. Sims a first down at the 44 of Kansas City. And that hurts the Chiefs because that means the Lions can keep the clock running.
Lions obviously now trying to use the clock. Will keep the ball inbound. Will try and run the ball. You get a chance to feel the strength of that offensive line in this second half of Detroit. Homer Elias, number 61, driving Spaney, Gary Spaney, about 5 yards off the ball. That's the kind of play you run 8 or 9 times on Monday or Tuesday, and they're a little embarrassing. Spaney's had some good ones today, too, by the way.
Play action, and Hippo fumbles and recovers his fumble at the 47-yard line, and that's what the Chiefs, who have been very good at that all year long, forcing fumbles and interceptions. In fact, they're right with the leaders.
They've also run 3 fumbles back for touchdowns, which is most unusual in a season.
And another interception for a touchdown. Their third sack today. But the clock continues to run. 4:45, 4:44 left. The Lions 20, the Chiefs 10. It was tied at 7 after the first quarter. The Lions led 17-7 at the half. Both teams kicked the field goal in the third quarter. No scoring in this quarter. Vince Thompson. Bubble. Out of bounds to Detroit at the 7-yard line.
That's twice in the last couple of minutes that the ball has had a chance to bounce, and it's bounced to Detroit 2 times. Gary Green, number 24, punched that ball right out of the hands of Vince Thompson. There were 3 or 4 Chiefs there, but the ball rolled out of bounds. Now watch it it'll be at the end of this run. A great job. They're trying to strip the ball. Watch number 24, Gary Green, come over. Now watch his right arm. Right here. Punches that ball. The ball comes loose. Actually hits on the knee of one of the defenders. That was Eric Green, but the ball went out of bounds. Watch it again from this angle.
40 yards, the longest run in rookie Vince Thompson's NFL career, and he gets the call again. Looked like the same play. Looked as if they had him by the face mask, but apparently just around the shoulder pad, down at the 8-yard line. Barbaro made the stop.
Now, if you're at home wondering why, when the ball hit on Eric Harris's knee, that Kansas City didn't get the ball, when you have a fumble like that, even if the defensive team touches the ball, it's not theirs unless they actually get possession of it. Ball rolled out of bounds and is awarded to the offensive team.
Barbaro made the Pro Bowl last year and All NFL. Nicholls State, Louisiana, their first football team. With 3.5 minutes left, it's Thompson again to the 4-yard line. Now they're using the big power back, 6 foot, 230-pound Vince Thompson. He was a long shot to make this Lions game. He was the very last player of the 45 back in the summer training period, and was a long shot, to say the least. Free agent from Villanova, a school that no longer has a football program. 45 yards for him today, and they're using him down on the goal line, and the clock is down to 3 minutes remaining. And the Chiefs must stop the Lions from scoring a touchdown, or it's over. Sims. Touchdown! What an effort by Billy Sims. Well, they should call him the Silver Snowplow, the way he pulled his way into the end zone on that carry.
He marks a great back for second effort, or what they do after they're hit the first time. And Billy Sims showed you what he has in the way of heart and second effort on that play. All the defensive guys get choked up when they see those backs going to the end zone.
Murray's try for point. And the Lions now lead 27-10. That was a 70-yard drive in 10 plays, 4 yards for Sims.
even on a bad toe, Sims still has that explosive speed. And here's what I talked about earlier, cutting back against the grain. That's what Delaney has got to learn to do. And Eric Hipple, you think he's happy? Watch him when he sees the touchdown.
Sims carried a man 30 pounds heavier than himself into the end zone the last 3 yards, and the Lions are up by 17.
Michelob brings you the 7-day weekend, Southern style. The style and grace that is the South is reflected in one great beer, Michelob. That smooth and mellow taste has its own special way of saying, y'all come back and see us anytime.
There's nothing better on a rainy night in Georgia. Put a little weekend in your week. Yeah.
A time comes when you must watch your money carefully, so quality and value are a necessity. Can you find them in an American car? Absolutely. In Plymouth. Yes, Plymouth. The new Horizon Miser, built with advanced technology and front-wheel drive for the best gasoline economy of any American car. 5-passenger Horizon Miser, and not a penny more than 81. The American way to get your money's worth.
No place like home on Thanksgiving. That's how Monty Clark feels, and Marv Levy's team has not been on national television for some 4 years, and he said that was one of his thoughts this week, to keep his players from treating this game as being too important. That'll go into the end zone, and on the touchback, Kansas City has it at the 20-yard line. 2 minutes, 40 seconds left in the game. Let's go back to Sims' touchdown.
Billy Sims from a look high from the end zone. Now watch him, watch the vision that allows him to cut back. The little glance inside, sees there's no one pursuing in a position to be able to nail him early, and just bulls his way over the top of the defender. He knew exactly where that end zone was, Dick.
Leg power of Sims. He's hit head on by Peterson, stopped, and then just refuses to be brought down.
You see how he kept those feet moving? That's the secret to great offensive football, whether it be a lineman or a runner.
Steve Fuller has a man open, J.T. Smith, but he doesn't get out of bounds, and the clock will continue to run with 2:30 left.
Almost an impossible task now. 17 points. If it were 2 touchdowns, it certainly would seem more within the reach of Marv Levy and his Kansas City Chiefs.
Incomplete. Stops the clock with 2:08. Kansas City showing its mettle last year after they started 0-4 and then finished the season 8-4 for an overall 8-8 record. And this year, not a surprise to the good fans of Kansas City and Missouri that they're tied for first place with an 8-win, 4-loss mark. But some of the folks around the country have been a bit surprised by Kansas City, and there are a couple of other clubs that have raised some eyebrows with their success this year. I want to salute them. Way too long. With 2:03 left. What team has surprised you most this year?
Well, I think after watching Cincinnati in the middle of the year, we thought they were in position to start to threaten, but I don't even think we would have believed that they could come as strongly as they have in this season. Forrest Gregg and Anderson having a great year this year. They certainly have made believers of everyone across the country, and the other team I think I would have to salute would be the San Francisco 49ers. As difficult as that is, I have a lot of respect for
I
what
know how
Washington's
tough
done
that
up
is
there.
for you to say. Yeah, and the defenders for the Chiefs. This game has a lot of highs and lows.
I think that's one of the greatest things about it, Dick, the emotional highs and lows that you hit as an athlete.
Delaney is incomplete. Delaney, just as well he didn't get it on the ricochet, and that's the 2-minute warning. It comes at 1:57 left.
Quick look again. The new rule stipulating that if you have both feet on the ground and the ball in your hand, it is a completion. Well, I think they might have given Delaney the benefit of the doubt.
Kansas City, however, faces 4th and 10 and time running out when we return.
Alcoa presents Fantastic Finishes. 1978, Art Rooney's Steelers against the Browns. Bradshaw hands off to Blair, who gives to Swan, who pitches back to Bradshaw, who whales a 40-yard strike to Benny Cunningham that beats the Browns in sudden death 15-9. The Steelers handle the ball no less than 6 times on a flea flicker that brings victory to Pittsburgh on the game's final play.
Here comes another bunch of aluminum cans headed for recycling. Alcoa takes back the aluminum cans by the billions, and it's worth it because there's precious energy to be saved by remelting the cans and making brand new aluminum. Recycling. We're doing it now, and new cans are on the way. Made of light, convenient, energy-saving aluminum.
We can't wait for tomorrow.
Going into today's game, the best record in pro football, the surprising Bengals of Cincinnati, then Denver, the Jets in Miami, Kansas City, should they lose, would be 8-5 and drop down to the 5th spot, but still very much in the hunt.
There are the other 9-3 teams, Philadelphia, Dallas, San Francisco. And, of course, you see Detroit popping up there, not too far down the list.
Well, they're putting pressure on the Vikings now. Flag down on 4th and 10. And complete. Will it count? James Murphy, his first professional catch at the 45-yard line, and we'll check the penalty. 21 yards if it counts, but the Lions are pointing as if it's a Kansas City penalty. Offside, no. Lions, so the play will count. Before we leave the thrills of this season,
number 60 offside defense.
It was my pleasure to do the New York Jets game last Sunday, and that was something. We'll go back to that, but first, Jack Rudney. We promised you that we would share his Thanksgiving message. Here's a man who's devoted his time to a lot of charitable work. He's a class athlete. His words.
My name's Jack Rudney. I'm with the Kansas City Chiefs, and when it comes to Thanksgiving, I guess I think of 2 things, and that's time to be with our families and time to give thanks for really a lot of the wonderful things we have. Unfortunately, I don't have that time with my family today. I'd like to wish them the best in Kansas City, as well as my family and relatives in Cleveland, Ohio, and perhaps a special thanks to special Thanksgiving wish, at least, to that segment of our population that perhaps isn't as fortunate as all of us. Some of our people who are handicapped either physically or mentally, some even economically. And I know the daily battles that each of those people fight. My heart goes out to them, and I wish today to be the very happiest Thanksgiving that you've ever had.
I think the thing that helps us to respect those words from Jack Rudney is the fact that he backs those words with action. Brings the handicapped kids to every game at Arrowhead Stadium, brings them down on the field afterwards. I think that's the kind of thing we need more of, not only on the football field, but throughout this country. Doers, not talkers.
Now, we've really featured on this telecast many outstanding athletes and men. And Rudney, of course, comes to mind, and all the folks at Kansas City know, but people around the country. Here's a man hidden in the middle of that offensive line who is just a quality citizen. And the same for Stan White, a man who graduates 5th in his law class, a law student, not playing football. We've said it before, but you cannot be a dumb athlete and be a successful one. Now, these are very bright and sensitive men. And I guess I've seen no better example than my partner, Merlin Olsen. And I know most of you know that, but I think it's important we say that because some have a mistaken impression.
I think it's important, too, that people like Stan and Jack and many more, Dick. There are a lot of people who fall into that category happily in the game. They have the proper perspective. This is a game to them, and there are many things in life that supersede and take precedence for this game.
We talked about the Jets-Miami thriller last week. If time permits in the postgame, those of you who didn't get a chance to see the last 2 minutes, Richard Todd playing with a broken rib, driving the Jets to a 16-15 exciting finish. We'll be replaying it for you, so stay tuned. Complete. Stan Rome can't get out of bounds. Oldham made the tackle at the line, 47-yard line.
We got a fight going. We got a fight going.
We really do. Or at least a good wrestling match. Doug English was the Lion, and Roger Taylor, a rookie from Oklahoma State. Not a bad wrestling job.
I tell you, with the two of them out there, I don't think you'd want to jump in between. That they're swinging those beefy meat hooks. I got to tell you, it's hard to hurt a guy in a football uniform, though. At least swinging a fist at him. All you're liable to hit is plastic, and that hurts the fist more than the plastic. I think we'll have a double foul here. Looked like they were both throwing punches.
Unsportsmanlike, number 78, rejection. Unsportsmanlike, number 70, rejection. Number 76.
And both players are thrown out of the game. So they'll be able to start thinking about the Thanksgiving courses.
Dick, we didn't get that game on the West Coast as you did in New York. The last play, though, wasn't that a tip ball that decided that game?
No, I believe Todd just drilled it in to Jerome Barkham, and with 16 seconds left, it was the only touchdown the Jets scored. And
that was the Buffalo game with the tip ball.
That's right.
Yeah.
But in the Jets game, I had to race to the airport trying to catch the last flight home to Los Angeles, and it was a very poignant scene. I was running through the parking lot trying to get to the car, which was near the expressway, and it had to be 6 to 10 minutes after the game was over, and I looked back at the lights of Shea Stadium, and the roar of the crowd, they were still in there cheering, and the game had been over 10 minutes. And the fans of New York, and not just Jets fans, the Giants fans
with that big one over Philadelphia.
Hey, they're still a part of the playoff picture. 1:25 left. Incomplete. Stan Rome. Kansas City wanted interference on 26. Hector Gray. Ray Oldham was also there for the Lions.
They've got to go for it on fourth. They have no choice. Rome showing a little inexperience there. When a ball hangs that long, you have got to come back to the ball. He did start back, but he's got to drive aggressively back. Now watch it. He'll stop here. Now, the minute that ball is thrown, he's got to come back to it. He starts, but he's not really driving back to the ball. You really have to come to it, or that defender is liable to beat you to it.
4th down and 12. Fuller trying to scramble for the first down. Doesn't make it. Ray Oldham with a stopper at the 38. Detroit has the ball and apparently the game. A lot of folks, as you can see, convinced the Lions are going to win. They're heading for their afternoon dinner.
Well, it starts another chapter for these two teams in our story of communication, too, because the next job for both coaching staffs is to break down this film, to see what they did well and what they did poorly. And certainly for the Chiefs, there'll be a little soul searching. For the Detroit Lions, a great deal of celebration, but also they must correct the errors that they made in this game. The desire of both of these teams, and they're both teams that have lifted their head up out of the mire in the past couple of seasons and are on the upward climb, but they both want to be better tomorrow than they are today. I admire that in both Levy and Monty Clark.
Timeout called by Kansas City. How about the fact that these two teams and Dallas and Chicago later will have 10 days to prepare for the next round? Do you think that's a big advantage or any advantage at all?
I think the answer, at least my answer, might surprise you. I always preferred a short week to a long week. I think it gets yourself stale and kind of worn out waiting for a game to be played. It was easier for me to gear up for a Thanksgiving Day game than for a game that was with a 10-week or 10-day layoff. Although there are coaches who like to have a 3 or 4 day period when they can let their players go and relax.
Looking at the rest of the schedule for the Lions, they've got at Green Bay, then Minnesota at home, which could be, of course, a crucial game, and then at Tampa Bay. And the Buccaneers are still part of the picture at 6-6, while Kansas City has a game at Denver, home against Miami, at Minnesota, tougher schedule. Vince Thompson again, not much there. 47 seconds, 46, and the clock will continue to run.
We certainly have to take our hats off to Joe Delaney, who saw his stats just a moment ago. He's done a fine job. But looking at that schedule, I think the thing that's impressive to me about this Detroit team is that they're at home for the better part of that, and with this win, they have now remained undefeated here in the Silverdome.
Kansas City's remaining games. Teddy Nathanson is our director today, and Larry Cirillo, producer. Terrific job, gentlemen. And you made our holiday more pleasant with your creative work. That'll be it. The Lions beat the Chiefs. And as the players show their respect for their combatants, our thanks to our spotters, Walter Doherty and Ron Grubbs, Buck Jersey and Ron Knight with your help in the booth. It's over, 27-10, Detroit.
A promotional fee has been paid to NBC by United Airlines. We serve more of this land's top 100 business centers than any other airline. Fly the friendly skies.
This has been a presentation of NBC Sports, the leader in innovative sports television.
On NBC Magazine, horror movies, Urban Nomads, and The Self-Made Millionaire, Friday.
For 4 days only, Art Van is selling hundreds of items at cost or below during Art Van's massive $10 million stock reduction sale. At no other time, at no other store, will you be able to buy name brand furniture for less. Friday through Monday only, Michigan's largest furniture retailer offers drastic reductions in every department. If you've been waiting to buy furniture, don't. Save now at Art Van's 4-day, $10 million stock reduction sale.
How do you shop for a microwave when you're not sure what you want? Well, during Montgomery Ward's Microwave Sale of the Year, you'll discover all the features you need at prices you'll love. You'll see ovens with removable browners, even a microwave convection oven combination. This 1.5 cubic foot microwave features gourmet cooking control and temperature probe. Now just $379.97. Come in for a demonstration during the Microwave Sale of the Year at Montgomery Ward.
I'm Dick Burton, and I'm really excited. Watch my special on December 3rd. Second. Right here on Channel 5. Four. Did I say my name right?
The original Miracle on 34th Street, tonight at 8.
On Thanksgiving Day at the Pontiac Silverdome, it was left to the Detroit Lions to keep their record perfect and go 7-0 inside the Superdome. Eric Hipple leading the Lions to a victory over the Kansas City Chiefs, the final in the ball game, 17-7. This is the Budweiser NFL Report, brought to you today by Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. Well, to paraphrase the late Jim Croce, you don't pull on Superman's cape or spit in the wind or pull the mask off the old Lone Ranger or, for that matter, try to beat the Detroit Lions inside the Superdome. They go 7-0 inside this dome building, and one of the heroes on the day, young Eric Hipple. The stats weren't terrific, but you managed to do, Eric, what the Chiefs could not, and that was sustain drives.
Right. Well, that's what we were going to have to do to beat them, we thought. They're tough defensively. They came out in the second half and they came out hitting us pretty hard, and they came after us, and that's when we had trouble here getting a drive going. But once we got our drive going, I think we had no problem at all.
Coming into this ball game, you have to take a look at their past performance and say they're a club that if they do anything exceptionally well, it is stop the run. So how do you plan to attack a club that does that so well?
Well, just mix it up. You have to throw short on them, and every once in a while let it go, and you have to loosen them up. You can't let them tee off on the run. You have to throw on first down sometimes. And that's what we did in the first half, and we didn't have a problem with it. And go ahead. Okay.
Well, I was just going to say that early on in the ball game, you threw a touchdown pass to David Hill. He was wide open. Then you came back. You found another one to Freddie Scott. Were you particularly picking on Eric Harris?
No, we didn't really plan on picking anybody else, just other than just their coverage in general. We put in a new play this week, and we thought we could get a guy deep behind Barbaro, and that's the one we hit Freddie on.
On this day, you have become quite a story. You're a young man who stepped in for Gary Danielson when his wrist went under to a broken wrist. Have you surprised yourself a little bit?
A little bit. No.
How much? All false modesty aside.
Well, not by performance exactly, just the way things have gone, I guess, in general. You know, I figured I'd have a good game here and there, but, you know, then I figured I would pan out, maybe have a, you know, just an average, you know, average games. But the way things went, yeah, I'm surprised a little bit.
You came in with a bang on national TV, putting a lot of points on the board. Today, 27 points. But does that really reflect Eric Hipple? Has he gotten better each game, and will he continue?
I think so. I think what I've gotten better at is making adjustments during the game. That was the toughest thing I was having a problem with. During a game, if they come up into something we haven't seen during film, we make adjustments, and I think that's what I picked up on. I think that's what I need to work on even more.
All right, Eric, thank you very much. The final numbers, 10 for 22, 133 yards, 2 touchdowns. They're not terrific, but the big number on the board says Lions 27, Chiefs 10. It's one in the W column for the Lions and Mr. Hipple. We'll come back after a word from Budweiser.
Guys who keep the action from getting out of hand, this Bud's for you.
This Bud's for you. There's no one else who does it quite the way you do. So here's to you. You know it isn't only what you say, it's what you do. This Bud's for you. This Bud's for you, for all you do. The king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you.
Next Saturday, cheer on the greatest names in the history of figure skating as the heartthrobs of the 1980 Olympics, Ty Babylonia and Randy Gardner, 1980 Olympic gold medalist Robin Cousins, 3-time world champion Peggy Fleming, and the electrifying Dorothy Hamill compete in an encore performance of the World Pro Figure Skating Championship. Plus, light up with excitement as Pro Stock and Funny cars fly in NHRA drag racing. Then next Sunday, NFL action as the stretch drive for playoff contention continues. All for you on NBC Sports.
On this Thanksgiving Day, the Detroit Lions beat the Kansas City Chiefs 27-10. Merlin Olsen pointed out before the game that this would be one of the hardest-hitting ball games of the year. It turned out to be that and perhaps one of the sloppiest, particularly from the Chiefs' point of view. The way the game ended was certainly not the way it began. It was the Lions who took the ball down the field, scored on their first possession. The Chiefs scored on their second possession, but then things kind of slowed down. It was left to the Lions to make the difference 27-10, and maybe the difference in the ball game was the Chiefs' inability to get anything going to sustain any drives, and the Lions' ability to get the big play out of Hipple and the big play out of their defense. For more thoughts in the game, let's go back upstairs. Merlin Olsen, Dick Enberg. Gentlemen?
All right, Bryant, we featured Joe Delaney and Billy Sims at the start, and of course you conjure up thoughts of a great Thanksgiving game by O.J. Simpson, who ran for 273 yards once on Thanksgiving Day, but it wasn't the big game by those stars. Where did it switch?
Dick, I think part of the reason for that is the two defenses are pretty good against the run. They made it tough on both these runners. Delaney had the edge in the first half, and I think certainly Sims had it in the second half. That's when Detroit needed it. They wanted to control the football. They got the edge with Sims running and with Hipple's passing throughout the game. I think we ought to pat Steve Fuller on the back, especially for his start in the second half, although he did not maintain that kind of heat throughout the second half. It looked for a while that Kansas City might come back. They just didn't quite have the gas to do it.
And going back to you, Bryant, Joe Costanzo has the final count. Delaney 77 yards, Sims 64 yards, and 1 touchdown.
All right, Dick, thank you very much. There's the graphic illustration of exactly the matchup we were talking about. Sims and Delaney. Sims, of course, was hampered a bit by, as Merlin alluded to earlier, turf toe. As for Delaney, it was interesting to note, also as Merlin pointed out, I should add, that while Delaney's numbers have been impressive, his race, it seems, is to merely turn the corner and get upfield. When the Detroit Lions managed to beat him to that corner, his inability to cut back was in great part the reason for the Chiefs' inability to sustain any drives. On this day, they stopped Delaney, were able to stop the Kansas City Chiefs, and were able to go 6-0 in the Dome. I correct myself. I think earlier I said 7-0. In any event, they're undefeated under this roof. We'll come back after a word from Budweiser.
This Bud's for the men who took the Andrea Doria treasure back from the sea.
This Bud's for you. For all you do, the king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you.
If you hate that wet, icky feeling under your arms,
Why use a roll-on or spray antiperspirant that's wet?
start your day dry with Speed Stick Super Dry Antiperspirant. It's the wide stick. Effective protection with more dryness to help fight wetness.
Needs just a few strokes and goes on dry.
So you can get dressed right away. No wetness.
Get the wide stick.
So dry, you can get dressed right away. Speed Stick Super Dry Antiperspirant.
5 minutes.
You see the final score, the Lions 27, the Chiefs 10. There were a number of stories we attempted to develop today. One was the ongoing duel between Simms and Delaney, but the story within the story on this day was that of Stan White, the man who masterminds the Lions' defense on the field. We highlighted him before the game, kept watch on him during the game. Now we're thankful he's joined us after the game with his whole high school teammate, Michael Adamle. Mike?
O'Brien, you talked about the exploits of Eric Hipple on offense. This is the man who makes it go for the Lions defense, Stan White, number 52. And Stan, we were talking earlier, and I'm not trying to get the Chiefs mad at you or to send you letters, but you said that they were a pretty basic offense. You didn't have to study too much film this week, and you turned out to be pretty prophetic.
Right, because it was a short week. We only had a few days to prepare, and it was a good thing that they did things basically. And that's not bad. There's a lot of great teams that do things basically, but it helped us in our preparation. We knew that they ran from certain formations and they passed from other formations. And the fact that they were without Henry Marshall, I think, really hurt them a lot because it left J.T. Smith as their one main receiver and allowed us to double team him all day long and really try to take him out of the offense and force them to go someplace else where they really didn't want to go.
Pressure was the name of the game for you guys this afternoon. You registered 5 sacks. You had one of them. How do you coordinate the Silver Rush?
Well, we give them a lot of freedom, Mike. We look into our pass situations, and we tell them just go rush the passer. Because, like I said, we knew when they were going to pass today because of their formation. And when they know that, they can really set their teeth back and go. And they really put a lot of pressure on. That's the key to any pass defense is the pressure you get on from your front four. We got a great front four here.
Okay, the Lions have run their record to 7-6. You got Tampa Bay, you have Green Bay, you have Minnesota. You control your own destiny.
Right, we can do a lot for ourselves the next 3 weeks. We play people in our division. We have a good streak going ourselves, 3 in a row, and we just try to play them one at a time. The old cliche now, because it's always so true. And if we can just play the way we play today, we'll be in good shape.
Dan, once again, congratulations. Happy Thanksgiving, partner. Great to see you.
Okay, brother. Good to see you, too.
Okay. Bryant?
Okay, Michael, thank you very much. I think it's heartening to know in this day and age that when Mike Adamle played high school football, he was only the second best linebacker on his team. We're going to step aside for just a moment. When we come back, we'll have some we'll have some highlights of the ball game and be joined by Pete Axtell. We'll get to that after, again, a word from Budweiser.
What's more natural than spicy hot food and icy cold beer? What's more natural than Natural Light from Anheuser-Busch? It's the beer with a taste for food. So, when you want to put out the fire...
What's more natural than Natural Light?
When we at Craco build a car stereo, we never know who's going to be in the driver's seat. So every Craco car stereo is tested to meet the toughest quality standards. And that means you can be sure that your Craco car stereo will perform, no matter what your listening habits are. Down the road, you'll be glad it's a Craco.
By virtue of their loss today, the Chiefs have fallen out of a tie for first in the AFC West. But in the AFC East, the tie still exists between the Jets and the Miami Dolphins. That tie was forged last Sunday when the Jets came from behind in the final seconds to beat the Dolphins. The call from Dick Enberg and Bob Trumpy.
Sitting in Shea Stadium, 60,000 cheering for the Jets. Jones at the 13, and the clock running. And here's where those timeouts are so critical. 29, 28 seconds left from the 12-yard line. The Jets need a touchdown to win it. Ooh, and very close to interference as Jones was leaving his man Don McNeil, and McNeil had a piece of it.
There is something that an offense can do in that situation, realizing that the defense is allowed one chuck in the first 5 yards. If you can get the ball up while contact is made, you may get an interference call. I believe that's what Walt Michaels was claiming there. Plenty of time here now. No reason to panic, but throw it in the end zone.
Win or lose, that man, Richard Todd, has won a lot of fans in New York today. At the 12-yard line, 21 seconds and one timeout left. They're mobbing Jerome Markham in the end zone as the Jets have tied it. Yards, but not to spoil the celebration. Remember, the extra point is necessary for the victory, and here's Lee.
And so the Jets beat Miami 16-15 to forge a tie in the AFC East. They'll try to break the tie this Sunday when they go against the Colts. That's just one of the games we'll have on. We'll come back after a word from Budweiser.
For all the guys who keep the action from getting out of hand, this Bud's for you.
This Bud's for you. There's no one else who does it quite the way you do. So here's to you. You know it isn't only what you say, it's what you do. This Bud's for you. This Bud's for you. For all you do, the king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you.
Our final again, the Lions a winner over the Chiefs by a score of 27-10. And what does that bring your record up to? 3 above 500?
No, that brings me to 4. 24-20, and not as good as the Lions in the Silverdome, that's for sure.
It was interesting. You were telling me ahead of time that you were talking to Monty Clark, and he said he's been getting all kinds of suggestions about the way to improve his road record.
Yes, every wacky suggestion in the world from psychiatrists and so forth, things to do with the guys the night before the game, make them feel at home, but this is where they're really at home. You know, Brian, I think an interesting point about both these teams is they're good, but they're limited, and one of the limitations is they don't come from behind. Once Kansas City got behind, it really took a lot away from them.
That raises a good point because you and I glossed over it a little bit. A look at the standings tells you they're playoff teams, but we both agree they are not in the classic sense. Does that mean the league is that strong or the entire league is that mediocre?
It means there is no more classic sense. Almost anybody can make it, for better or for worse. Both these teams have a shot.
From what you saw today, do the Lions appear to be a team that's going to get to play after Week 16?
I still have to see them do it on the road and on natural grass.
Okay, Pete Axtell, thank you very much. Our final again, the Lions 27 and the Chiefs 10. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Don Ohlmeyer. Coordinating producer of football is Teddy Nathanson. Today's telecast produced by Larry Cirillo and directed by Ted Nathanson. NFL 81 was produced by David Neal and directed by Bob Levy. Our technical director was Bruce Berquist. Associate producers Mike Hadley and Glenn Adamo. Associate directors John Libretto, Bob McKinnon, and Brian Orenstrack. Remember, next Saturday on NBC Sports World, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, it's World Pro Figure Skating Championship Encore Performance with stars like Ty Babylonia, Randy Gardner, Peggy Fleming, Dorothy Hemmel, many more. Plus the 1981 NHRA World Finals of Drag Racing. That's Sports World Saturday, 4 o'clock Eastern Time. And then on Sunday, Week 13 in the NFL, NBC follows the race right down to the playoffs and through the AFC Championship. We ask you to start your day with us here on NFL 81. Join me for all the latest news, scores, and highlights from around the league. Then it's exciting regional action highlighted by interdivision matchups. Among them, Baltimore against the Jets, the Bengals against the Browns, and the Broncos against the Chargers. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area. Our final, the Lions 27, the Chiefs 10. For Dick Enberg, Merlin Olsen, Pete Axtell, Mike Adamle, and all of us here at NBC Sports, Bryant Gumbel saying thank you very much for joining us. Hope your Thanksgiving is a happy and healthy one. From all of us to you here on NBC, happy Thanksgiving from us, the leaders in innovative sports television.
A look at the Soviet spy threat on NBC Reports, The Spies Among Us, Saturday.